Hey guys, welcome to Screenshot, the show where we talk trending topics, pop culture and current affairs. So with me is Vui.
Yeah, Solomon.
We've got Alan.
What's up?
And our friend for the show today, we've got Metembe, aka Blinko.
What up?
Dancer extraordinaire. So to start off the show, we're going to talk about Hakim. I think we've all seen the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the narrative that I want us to talk about is not the narrative of Hakim taking his money and putting it in his mother's name.
Nah, why are we not talking about that one? Why? We want that one.
Oh, you want that one?
We want that one.
I want it.
And
from
the other one that you wanted as well is fine.
All right.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that?
He's a hero. That's what he is.
Just business, Papa.
It's just his business. Nothing personal. It's business.
Marriage a business.
No, but the thing is, in marriage, there's something called community of property. You know, like utiling a chart and you are no longer two people, you become one. Yeah, well, now it's unfortunate. Some people don't necessarily marry for the right intentions. You know, that's why you get a prenup, you know, and there's loopholes within that system. That's how you then find a situation where this guy was taking in property yake and putting it in his mother's name, such that at the time a divorcer and his wife was demanding. Remember, she demanded, by the way. That's how this thing trended. She demanded half yake. And when that was happening, it was then discovered that he had taken 80% of his assets and given them to his mother. I know a few days ago there was a narrative that was saying, Mama can spend all the money. But no, that's fine. We don't care. That's besides the point. This is my antitrust. It's a property now, you know. So I really feel that, I mean, there is the other part, the flip side of this, which I think you're going to talk about sooner or later. It was in the midst of certain accusations, but I feel like this guy worked hard for that man, and he felt like he had to protect my hard work. I need to give it to my mother.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it really did make sense for me.
No, I like how someone was saying, Tina, as Africans, it's hard for us to do that. Yeah. Because we're izinto ebizonela masala enikele church
profit for no papa.
But I have a question. So let's say you guys are now getting married, and
hypothetically, because that will never happen to me. I belong to the streets.
Yeah. Can you please keep this clip out for when we get married? So anyway, my question is, three guys here, you're going to get married hypothetically, and
not to each other.
Yeah, of course, not to each other.
Like Alan, but not like that.
You're going to have wives, right?
Yeah.
So how are you entering the marriage? Are you guys going to follow the same thing? Uti, you're going to hide imalos olas, or are you going to be upfront with your wife? Are you going to marry out of community of property? And wait.
No, it's fine.
Said wife and has more money than you.
That changes a lot, man.
Changes everything. Because what I was gonna say is, I don't have money, but what money am I feeling?
Were you really going to say that?
I was gonna say that. You know, thing is, we're taking a situation where this guy is making £1 million every week.
Yeah.
Comparing it to us.
Hi, until now you'll be marrying someone. If you're making if you are making $100 a week or whatever, and umuntu wako is making, let's say, $400 a week, but you've managed to gather properties and all that. So are you doing the same thing? Are you going to do what he did?
No, the thing is, you said that the other option is that she's got more money than me.
Yes.
Now, if we're divorcing, I'm entitled to what that money that she has, which is more than mine.
Is that not being a hypocrite?
No, it's not. Do you know? It's not, in the sense that from the minute we got married, whatever money I make, even if it's 5 cents and she makes 95 cents to a dollar, it belongs to both of us. It doesn't belong to her anymore. It doesn't belong to me anymore. It belongs to the marriage.
All I'm saying is, Hakim, auntie, that he didn't do that.
So she can do. I'm saying in this case, my said wife that's leaving me can't do that. And Lami, I'll be like, hi. What's going on?
But you said Hakim is a hero. Aren't I'm impressed?
I think
it's like who's that actor? The actor who had a court case just recently, who won the thing. No, not him. Johnny Depp.
Oh, yes.
So usually in that case,
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Guy usually always loses out.
Yeah.
So I think why people love this story so much is because the guy won, for lack of a better term. Whereas usually he would have lost all his money. We've seen this happening to our Jeff Bezos even. You know what I mean? So this was like a story for the guys, if you want to put it that way.
But it's unfortunate for me, I think, what he, of course, was saying he won, right? But then the circumstances that led to all this, I feel like abantu abaningi are now being neglectful of that side of things. Because they're divorcing because there's rape allegations involved and infidelity, but we overlook that because people want to focus more on the guy being, you know, the hero.
For once.
For once, of course. But then once again, it goes back to what we talked about earlier, there's a difference between being charged of something and being, you know, convicted.
Yeah,
there's a fine line. So I think abantu abaningi who are speaking about this don't know izinto zonke lezi. Abakwaziyo ukuthi yeah, you see now.
We know the allegations.
That's what we
I don't know how far true it is, but kuthiwa I think ngubonesa muye ukuthi he's now he's supposed to get 50% of her things because nguyo osele mali. Is that true?
I mean, if I can't, but from a law point of view, that would make sense. He should, because he's the broke one now. He doesn't have access to his name.
In that sense.
Yeah, and remember, the people are forgetting another part about the story. She is not only is she older, but she also has like money in her own right. If I'm not mistaken, she's a model, she's an actress, you know, prominently wherever she comes from, you know, so she like you must get 50% of her man.
Hey, but I don't think it's fair. Okay, yeah, of course, legally it's right. Yeah, he's supposed to get half, right?
Yeah.
But dog, after cheating on someone and there's rape allegations and then somthathela imali on top of that.
Lokho ukuthi we all know ukuthi kuthiwa imali he intentionally put it under his mother's names like izinto eziningi. So like lani liyambika up day.
But I mean, what was wrong with that though?
But what was it before or after they got?
It was probably in the course of their marriage. Yeah.
Should have. I think so.
I'm assuming this was something evidence the whole time.
You
know.
So if that's the case,
she brought him into the world.
So we can't say why.
You know, like, I think she.
If you wanna do that for your mom, no one can, you know, come in and say, "But Melinda, what?"
Yeah, guys,
it makes sense.
The thing.
But you know, one thing I do know is that the divorce laws tend to favor women more.
Yeah, of course.
In especially Guma Western states. I don't know if data because I haven't seen it yet. I'm still looking for it, yeah. But for the Western countries, it's usually the guy who's left with nothing, just seeing fire. And the hand usually, you know, gets them. Yeah. And there's a lot of people whose lives have changed for the most dramatic turn from that, which have been guys. I think that's why it's, you know.
I think it's usually because like most married women would have children and stuff, and so if they get custody of the kids, usually like that supports ukuthi umfazi gets imali ening and like for childcare and stuff like that. I think like usually that's what happens.
The thing is, on paper, it should all be this perfect stuff for which when the guy gives the money, it's being used for this and this. But there's so many cases, not all of them, of course, where even that money is being mismanaged and maybe the hand is now buying drip or just stuff like that. You know, we've seen this happening way too many times. So,
you've been swindled.
But for me, I think where the unfairness.
Anyway,
for me, I think where the unfairness actually gets to me is, I understand the rape culture, which of course. Most times, really, I said, also a believer, the lady before the gent. But it's quite unfortunate if it turns out the rape allegations are false. For ladies, the penalty is not as.
It's not as
does it exist actually?
Last I checked, there isn't.
I don't
There's no
know.
penalty
Yeah.
for the 4 straight allocation.
But-
There's no prescribed penalty. I'm sure, like, if I then press charges for false accusation,
okay,
it's a new trial altogether.
Yeah.
But
That
you won't.
should be a thing.
You can
And
do
that
Yeah.
should probably
Very,
be
that's how it's
something
supposed to
that's
happen.
encouraged.
But I mean, what I've always thought
But
is
once
that
you've been
it
put
must
there,
be the
it's too
same.
late.
Yeah.
You've realized people never bounce back. You know, Jonathan
Yeah.
Majors, I saw something that says he's lost his agent.
The manager.
And maybe they want to replace him in the movies now, even. So, yeah, just over that is gone.
Even
Again,
if you're innocent.
we don't know what
Even
happened.
if you're proven
We're not
innocent.
there.
Kono Uchi, someone once thought that this guy could commit such a thing.
Yeah.
It makes you toxic.
But okay, you mentioned Lokuzenin, Johnny Depp. So Amber Heard,
Yeah.
there hasn't been a bounce back.
Wait,
That was replaced on Aquaman.
members, which one? No, which one? Child member.
Auntie, it's trial yankona.
Now, who is that's the one.
Allegedly, guys.
I'm Nanka, bro.
Utanzailandela in case yakhona, but
Apparently.
yeah.
Child Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, nah. I mean, but honestly, how would hit Jack Sparrow? Honestly.
But you see, that's what I was saying before about marketing. Where you can take any person and put them on screen to play a movie character. The audience watches, then they think, oh, this guy's like this in real life. When in actual fact they are not. So when you meet the real life person, you tell you how. Kanti umumchito njengalana nohlala ekhoneni lapha. You're the same guy, you just played the role.
Yeah.
The buff guy, Lona, or actor, Everybody Hates Chris.
Terry Crews. Terry
He had
Crews.
a lot of incidents where he was, he felt he was sexually harassed or whatever it is. And when you look at him, so
That's what made even the story more like.
Yeah, but it happens. What Joey and you're like, no, Joey, stop it. Like, shut up,
I wouldn't do that. Don't you see me like a brother? I wouldn't do
I
that.
told he does, eh? Yeah, I don't see you as a brother. Definitely not.
I think you guys have touched on something. Uti, as a man, I don't think you'd be eager to go and report Uti I've been sexually assaulted. Wesi kuthutsha umuntu okumbuka ezicakele njengami so kuthiwe lawe amapolisa sangakuhleka lawe sensithi sorry. Anyway, next up we're going to talk about this is a link to what Metembe does. He's the founder of Happy Kids Worldwide. Yes, shout out to Metembe. Hey guys.
we see you.
Guys, I need you.
Before I even introduce, Lapa, we've got founders of him yet. I haven't founded anything here.
You founded this.
Podcast.
Well, yes. But,
You wanted us to say that.
but anyway, it makes me happy though. It makes me happy to have got the founder. So, Metembe, can you tell us a bit about Happy Kids Worldwide? Then we'll talk.
Happy Kids Worldwide. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the premise yakhona, it's based on ukuthi I think kids have the most malleable minds or brains. They are more open to things. Even when it comes to learning technology, they learn fastest. So there's a lot of information that growing up, especially for us like Lape Bulawayo, when we grow up, we're not told this information. We only see what has always been, and that cycle just keeps going over and over. So because of that, things never change. They stay the same. But I've been blessed enough to, go outside and do what I do, which is dance, and see a lot of different places and how people live. So when you're raised in one environment in which you're always doing the same thing all the time, it becomes expected. Anything different to this just seems like, yo, what's happening? But there's so many talented people here, and they just don't know what to do with that talent. So Happy Kids Worldwide, it's like a clothing brand, but it's touching on the kids to say, what can we do to change this pattern of all the time we're always doing the same thing. But people are talented, you've got so many dope videographers, so many dope artists, musicians, dancers, you name it, all these different things, even engineers, pilots, But these are things that we're not really looking at. So Konokuguti now are saying, yo, the world is actually, it's out there, the internet is here, all the information is there. We just need to change how we think, and apply certain fundamental models in everything that we do, and then we'll just see this happening. And I know, because I've tried to do this with all the people, it hasn't had the most reception or the more success stories, because they don't do the things that they're supposed to do, or in terms of following through, which I can really learn this or that or that. Whereas with kids, they are more they are more happy and enticed to do so. I was teaching my little cousin how to play chess, and after one game, he knew how to play, you know. So the learning ability is that fast, because we all have the human mind, so we can all do it, but the older guys tend to think, I can't, so it gets in the way. But we really all can do it. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, and kids are more receptive to new information and all that, but then on the parental side of things, I mean, I do design, and it's something that's out of the norm, really, for
sure.
Abazali and all that.
That's true.
So how do we get to a point where we start convincing Abazali also we don't have to do things the conventional way?
Yes.
There's other way of
The education is like the only route to success.
Can tell kids all day with our guys, you can make money from dance, you can make money from fashion, you can make money from music, but as long as Abazali are still stuck on that mentality with go to school, do this. Of course, yeah, bakhona abantu are meant to go to school and work, but it's not for everyone. But if it's not for you, how do you convince umzali with, I'm trying to, we have to be rebellious about what we do. I had to graduate and, do all that and then start doing into Zako. But if I'd known better, I would have started all this way back. So how do we get to a point where we change in Ngondo Zabazali also and make them more receptive to...
So, first and foremost, we just need to look at it from a perspective of Umzali. Umzali brought you here. You have no doubt that they love you. If anything, this is the one person who's going to back you up no matter what you're doing. So, when they come with the attitude about being alive, never look at it from, do they love me, are they being... to them, they're trying to do the best for you. They want your future to be as bright. But results do the speaking. So, right now, we haven't had that many people doing these different things, because everyone has just been doing the same thing. So we've got the starting people who are just breaking out and doing new things now. It's still a recent phenomenon, but the more people that do that and the results are there, then they will listen. But until they see the results, it's a no. But already have people like Abo Kim Chade, Abo Xavier in the UK. If I'm forgetting anyone, skis. But but I just don't wanna.
Do you guys realize when we sorry.
So
sorry.
Slowly we'll be able to show them, but it has to be through results. Because you can try and reason and say this and say that, but because we grew up on the internet, so possibilities for us are different. They grew up in a different landscape, so the possibilities are different.
So now, do you remember the mental exhaustion we talked about earlier? I think when it emanates from that, I feel like most of us are now, I'm a pilot project.
Yes.
So there's a lot of burdens on us, which I have to try and prove to people who don't believe in me. So that's where the mental exhaustion comes in. You're saying?
There's a different way to put it. Like I like in Lila in as much as when a Romzali wasn't cuddling as far as your vision for your own life is concerned, you can always count on them. Whatever they want for you is in your best interest. Doesn't mean that is right. But another way to look at it is we come from our country is very young. We're celebrating independence yesterday. It's 43 years old. Look at each generation lay. They're coming from a time where either they didn't have access to education themselves, formal education, or education abayitholayo babona ukuthi mina ngahamba esikolo ngifunda ukuba ngunurse kumbe ngifunda ukuba ngulokhuzen, like these conventional professions. It feeds into the economy somewhere. Like there's a place for me, So I feel like we are much better off being the change we want to see, in the sense that for the next generation of abantwana ababuyayo, let's be those parents that nurture creativity. We've got a much higher chance of succeeding in that than telling the guys before us, which I know guys, I see you. There's a quote that I like. It says the creative adult is a child that survived.
That's actually my favorite.
You check.
You've seen the picture.
So like you see, just so the four of us here, for us to be creative adults, and we survived many things. We survived certain influences pulling us in paths that are not ours. You know what I mean? So what we need to do is spare the next generation that pain. Be the guy that's like, what, instead of forcing a certain profession upon umtanami or certain like vocations on my kid. Let me study my light, bro. Man, I'm born with already no talent. Do they like drawing? Do they like music? What exactly? Like, don't force anything. Like, just create a process for them where they can just do whatever they want, and then try and feed into that, try and support that, rather than say, no, guys, kids are smart. Kids are very, very smart.
Again, like, I've realized that when I talk to a lot of people like to talk about life in terms of how it should be, but they never want to talk about how it actually is. So what you're describing is dope. I'm fully for it, but chances of you getting that kind of parenting in an environment like this, when parents already have the pressure of I have to go and work and food, and it's just too pressing for that group or strata to be able to do those kind of things. So I think the solution is education. But when I say education, I've realized this is also the misconception people have. Education is not just going to school and cramming what that book says and then putting it down and then keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Education is, if you want something, can you go and find ways of getting it and actually get it without infringing on anyone's rights? That's what it is. So I want to be a carpenter. How do I do it? Okay, I go and get that education, and then I go continue and do whatever it is I'm doing. So learning anything is education. How do I operate this camera? So it's not always just sit in school. The sitting in school thing was actually a Prussian invention. So in Prussia, they just wanted to have a lot of people who were like on soldier mode. Okay. All these people to just do the same thing. That's what we need. They need team laser and so. So the education system is based off of that. Okay. So it's to train you to become easier to manage. Because when the industrial revolution came in, they had to have all these people trained fast to just do the same monotonous stuff over and over and over. So that became the education for them. But the education is wider than that. You can learn so many things, bro. You can teach yourself whatever. You can just read about it or YouTube it or whatever. Granted, you just have to make sure it's the right sources. So once we change that education term, it's different. Because now you can have someone else to be a DJ. And maybe in school, they're not looking at geography like I need to learn this. Because there's valuable information there. But in the moment, they're thinking, I want to just do this thing. So you teach them about, okay, this is how tech works. You do this, this is how CDJs work. This is how you give them all that information. And then you grow with them like that. But local with you come and tell someone how to live. It won't work. You know what I mean? And vele kuzaba le resentment that comes out of it. So the parent thing is very tricky.
Right.
You have to speak with your results.
Very important, yeah. You said something important. I feel like, right now we're all youngsters, but we are literally the next generation of politicians, next generation of legislators. And the cold mafia. That is our 10. I'm just joking.
He looks at the camera and he says something serious.
But I'm having serious. Anyway, it's our 10.
Who's our?
It's all of us. But anyway, the point that I wanted to make is that there's that aspect of education, but I also think that why don't we actually retry as much as possible to reform the actual system, formal education system. As Golo right now, I don't even lie. I think I've talked about this, but I can't remember where it was. But we talked about we learn useless things. Like maybe to some person out there, head and thorax and abdomen and is important. It's so important. But maybe it's really life changing stuff. But what about a guy like Metemi that wants to dance? Why is it that dance must be an extracurricular activity? What about a guy like me that wants, I want to talk, bro, I want a podcast. Why is it that I must, any podcast, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Even sports. What the things, sometimes I feel like the things that we term is extracurricular, extras. Even letting us focus on school. That's what people are supposed to be doing.
Can I come in there? Let's also, so we're saying it's easier to move like a mark from 25% to an 80. But to move it from 80 to like 100, that's way hard. So let's go back to schooling. How does school start? or universities and stuff. So I'm a philosophers, those guys will come and meet and say, when you're the guy with like clothing, that's your thing. You're the podcast #1, Chisanyamas, game, dance, whatever. We all come together, and then because I'm so passionate about dance, I'm doing the most to find out as much as I can.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm coming here, I'm giving you that. So we're all excited to come and share. That's how school starts. It's like, I can't wait to go. Like, I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Then
And
over
in talking
time,
or educating each other.
yes.
Yeah.
But over time, it now becomes this thing where it's like, okay, we need to find a structure and stuff. So maybe they go, okay, to survive economically, someone needs to understand geography, you need to understand economics, this. So let's have a standard set of information that we'll give these people. Ne? Okay. Then we also need to make sure physically they are G, aspanigi PE, aspanigi lokla. So that system there in its inception is actually to help us if we're using it the right way. Like, imagine if you like really enjoy it and you're going, I can't wait, boom, kule PE, siyahamba, oh, today we're learning this, science, kule Bunsen burner, you're actually gonna learn, and you become a craziest person out there. By craziest, I mean like really,
I think
you know.
it
Depends on the school also. Correct? If you look at schools as the same, look Chinan, like extracurricular activities are konan. They're not really, you know, kuloku gijima, loku.
Lokuya kumavuzu party. Ningakuyenzi lo khana abantwana.
But everyone is involved in this. Because even look at, you're saying what the future
politicians and legislators.
But we're also future teachers, ne? So the people we hang around or the people we know around, would you want those people teaching your kids? Because these are the people who are gonna teach anyway. Yeah. No.
Imagine Melinda teaching our kids, bro.
Yeah, but you see, even things like
Melinda
that.
actually, you're right. But
you want to know, that's interesting. Which like she teaches. Are you okay with the teaching your kids?
I'm literally like,
I teach media and information literacy.
Oh yeah, she does teach.
Oh damn, she does.
the fact that we're not friends like that. I know every single thing that you do, I know what you do.
As long as you know what I do and not who I do, that's fine.
But Mina, my point was if it is golo as in jengabo much high cover, let's say for example.
Does that school actually exist?
Yeah.
That's my primary school.
Oh!
I'm actually going to go and perform at my high school. I'm gonna go and make it happen. I don't know who to
I've
speak
got one question side,
but
but
yes, it is.
Like
The fact that you guys won't let me make my point.
No, mama, like, guys. Nah, I'm also cool, man. Like, I'm still on the name in my child's call. Wabe lawyer okungakanani?
Who's that?
No, bro.
In that area, what you Chinese call?
Bakule's cove, isn't it? I think the trees are here. So even going to school, you see a lot of owls. It's just like.
No, I don't think. I think Kumbisa when is cover once in billion.
Data.
Nisikhobe ngesazi ingoma lana jeke yeduma sikwazi wena dindindi. Anyway, ungakhohlwa point yakho. You may proceed.
Oh yeah.
You're saying the problem is at the schools.
Okay, let's when and where so ufunde my child's cover. Imagine if they things like do they have into the dance land?
No, definitely not.
Do they have now?
No. I wanna introduce it. But so you see, this is the thing.
You want to introduce it?
Yes.
That's what I wanted to say. Uguti latinje. I feel like we need to use this type of thing, these spaces or whatever.
Actually, really, realistically, we're in a third world country, right? And Bula is not even where it's most hip and happening. More action is in Harare and stuff. So the likelihood of the entertainment industry popping here is very small, unless people actually show initiative. In other places, the industry has been going for so long, there's already systems in place. If I go, I want to be a model, it's now a matter of, let me just search for agencies. Now I audition for an agency. Whoever is looking sends that info to the agencies.
So do we have models in Bulawayo, like agencies?
Benches did you answer?
They're there.
Like for fashion shows and stuff.
Yeah, they're there.
Yes.
I was at an item last week. It was a fashion item brand building initiative, and we had a lot of models. Or Samantha Chuma. She owns an agency. Shadell owns an agency.
Yeah. Who else? The stylist is he a model? I think he's a model as well.
Model stylist.
Okay. So like those type of fashion weeks items.
The thing is that if you look at like Hollywood, the Hollywood system and study its history, how did it start? It starts with There was a point where in movies they didn't even give you credits. The actors didn't even matter. It was just like, let's drop this thing, the studio house dropped this, boom. Then over time they started putting the name and realized certain people come to watch the movie for the name. So then the name becomes a brand. That becomes the birth of that whole system. Now even as an actor you can ask for more money because your name has that pull. Yeah, then from there it's now, okay, let me actually get an agent because these brands are now trying to hit me up. Yeah, then from there, boom, boom. But over time, it like keeps increasing. So theirs has matured way more. Whereas ours is still in its beginning stages, so to speak. Yeah, and the entertainment, people who are worried about entertainment have covered Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They're not thinking of shelter and food and da-da-da. This is leisure time. So if we're in a third world country, chances are majority of people are trying to get shelter and food. And that's, you know what I mean? So it's a small industry. Yeah. But the internet helps because now you can get your stuff outside and go outside with it. And
guys, we've run out of time. We have sadly run out of time. I thank you, Metembe, for gracing us with your presence. I think we learned something today. We were so chilled. We were learning something new. Metembe is deep. And thank you guys for joining us. This was a I think it was an educational show for all of us.
Informative.
Because very informative and educational.
It was key. Yes, yes.
Hey.
Amalgamates. Photosynthesis.
Can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye.
Thank you.